want to thank the White Horse and all of you who have gathered here today. When you hear the bell, you have 15 seconds to finish your comment. And please address your comments to the panel or the audience and not to each other. We want a forum, not a debate. Mr. Bain, we start with you. You have 2 minutes for an opening statement.
Thank you, Tom. My name's Bill Bain. I live in Flushing Township. I'm a former Town Cinema Theater manager. I'm a Metro Alliance trustee currently, and I'm a former UAW Executive Board trustee. I'm running for this position because I want to serve the residents of Genesee County. I have a lot of innovative ideas that I think will be very helpful. And some of the issues that are facing us are the staffing of the jail. We're having a lot of lawsuits at the Sheriff's Department and Genesee County in general. We need to make sure that we have our priorities for the budgets, and that's one of the issues there. Public safety is very important to me. Jobs, job creations, and making a good environment for creating jobs. Basically, that's about it. Thank you.
I hope George is as brief with his questions as you were with your opening statement. We'll move on now to Andy Everman. You have 2 minutes.
I'm Andrew Everman. I'm running for Genesee County Commissioner in the 7th District. I have the energy, compassion, and sound judgment to change and build the transparency which the residents would like to see happen in our county. I believe in using performance budgeting to look at our budget to see how it works. I believe in being out in the community, listening to the residents. I also believe that the board meetings need to go on the road. We need to look at having them in different communities. We did this at Mott Community College. And we also need to look at having our board meetings at a different time. Instead of just having them at 8 and 9 in the morning, we need to look at having them in the evening and in Montrose, Clio, and then looking at having them down at the southern part and the eastern side of the county, so all the residents know the value of what our government can do for them. I will represent my constituents and work to the best of my ability to help answer their questions and their problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And you have 2 minutes as well. Michael Lynch.
I'd like to start with thanking you, Tom, for having me here tonight, and the panelists as well. My name, as you said, is Mike Lynch. I'm running for Genesee County Commissioner, 7th District. I was brought up on a farm. I am currently a bricklayer of 32 years, so I know what hard work is, and I would be ready from day one to go work hard. I have 19 of those years I represented the bricklayers and allied craft workers. I spent those years negotiating contracts in some of the toughest economic times that I've ever known, and I come up that started in the 80s, which is also a tough time. Those contracts were tough decisions at times. We had to make some concessions at times, but those things have to be done, and we've made some hard decisions. Also, during them 19 years, I sat on a couple of trust funds of up over a couple $100 million. So I know how to deal with labor and management and professionals to work together to try to make these decisions, and I hope to bring that to this job. I will always have the working man's heart in my heart.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And we'll start the questions with Paul Rosicki. He'll have the first question, and we'll start with Andy Everman, then go on to Michael Lynch for his response, and then Bill Bain, and then we'll keep moving down the line as we go. So your question, Paul Rosicki.
All right, thank you.
Flint's premier political pundit, by the way.
Thank you, Tom. I'd like to thank the candidates for being here tonight. It's a great effort to have you here, and it's worthwhile to hear your voices. One of the biggest issues this year is road repair. I mean, clearly the roads have been in rough shape. What role could the county play in rebuilding Michigan's roads, and in particular, would you favor any kind of a tax increase to deal with the road issue?
That's your question?
Yeah.
Okay. The way the road commission is set up, they're appointed by the county commissioners. In each township, 2 trustees serve on the panel that drives around their township with 1 citizen to evaluate the roads. They then, on an appointed day of the year, make that report to the to the road commission. The road commission then comes to the county commissioners and ask for funding and help receiving funding. The county commissioner's job is then to work with legislators, regardless of party affiliation, to receive the fundings. Within the past few years, during our current governor's reign, he has given tax breaks to fat cats throughout the state in about $36 billion. If we had $1 billion of that money back, we would clearly have the money to repair the roads within our area. Ideas have been floated to put together taking 69 from the federal government and then making it a toll road. The idea has been looked at by the state legislature in the legislation in the past. When Lee Gonzalez was a state rep, they found that it was not effective to do that we didn't have the money to upkeep it, and that we would actually lose money if we tried to do it and offend our constituents.
Thank you. And 90 seconds, same question goes to Michael Lynch.
I'd like to start with saying I'm a little disappointed in our Lansing legislators to begin with. This is kind of a state issue, is where most of this comes from. I mean, they went from 500 million down to, up to $1 billion, and then now it's absolutely zero. They're not going to do anything about it. As far as at the county level, I mean, you have to stay in touch with your people that are in the street and what they want. You let your legislators know what they need and where we could go, and then, quite frankly, you let it go to the road commission at that time and work with them people. But at the state level, it is just absolutely ridiculous what they're doing to our roads out there. They're paying no attention to any roads that the working people are going on, more so putting the money in the roads that are for the tourists in the north. It's not helping us here.
Thank you, sir. And same question. You have 90 seconds, Bill Bain.
Well, federal revenues are going to continue to dwindle, and road funding this winter has compounded problems threefold, the heaving of the roads. What my suggestion is, and there's been talk since about 2011 by other states, like again the toll road, but not actually toll road, but what I'm proposing is throw and go toll booths, incoming, just for incoming traffic. I've got the actual stats from the state of Michigan, 284,000 passenger vehicles daily and 58,900 semi-trucks on a daily basis. That could create a significant revenue stream. Now, we would have to get permission from the federal government Highway Transportation Department, but I think this is a reasonable way to go. It won't put a big burden on where you'd have to go ahead and stop every time like normal toll roads. But from Canada, Indiana, Ohio, all those incoming to Michigan, I think that's what we should do. I think it's a good way to do. Instead of the ideas coming out of Lansing, doubling the gas tax, $125 increase on vehicle registration. Well, Governor Snyder and the representatives out there are like, it's like Robin Hood and this merry men, but it's in reverse. So, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take just a very short break, and welcome back to the White Horse and this candidate forum as we get to know the candidates running in the Democratic primary for the 7th District seat on the Genesee County Board of Commissioners with our political pundits here, Paul Rosicki, George Moss, and Jason Cooper from WFNT. And the question goes next to candidate Michael Lynch, and asking that question is Jason Cooper from Conversations with Jason Cooper at WFNT.
Thanks, Tom. I heard consolidation in one of the answers. I'm sorry?
That's 2 plugs for you.
2 plugs for me. Thank you. I heard consolidation in one of the answers just a few moments ago, and I've heard talk about consolidation of the courts in Genesee County. The district court, the circuit court, of course, friends of the court, and probate. Wanted to get your thoughts on consolidation of the courts and whether or not you think it's a good idea, and maybe how it might, if that happens, how it might affect residents in your districts.
Well, the court system now is major plugged. I mean, the consolidation, it's hard to get a court date now. I don't know if they're going to be consolidating them and shrinking them up, if there's going to be able to get the people that need to be convicted, or family court or whatever that might be, done in a timely manner. That worries me a little bit. The time wait now can be up to 6 months or longer, to even get to your court date. So, I mean, I believe in consolidation, but I also don't want to harm the system any more than it has to be done. I don't know if I would really be in favor of doing that this time.
Thank you, sir. Same question goes to Bill Bain.
I agree with the fact of keeping the same number of judges on, but I mean, if we can save some of these leases, we can save some revenue, have a big enough building to house the judges and make sure we can still get the cases through, that might be something worth looking at.
Okay. Boy, George is really going to have an act to follow here coming up in just a moment. Andy Everman, same question goes to you. 90 seconds.
The consolidation of the courts, I believe there was a county commissioner who went on to be a state rep. The reason I remember this so well is I ran against him one time, and he promised that we were going to reduce the courts in Genesee County as part of his platform for running for state rep. Once he got to Lansing, he quickly forgot about that. Can it be done? Yeah, it can be done. Are there as many people living in Genesee County as there has been in the past? No. Is there as much crime or more crime? There probably is. Another word to consolidate? Let's get rid of some of the county commissioners. How many do we have now? How many can we actually get along with? Probably a lot less. Maybe we should look at that. Now, can we do that by state law? I'm not sure. Rozicki's the one that wrote the book on that, and maybe that question should go to him.
Thanks, Andy. And we move on now to the eloquent and windy George Moss. And the question, I believe, is going to start. Did we get the full round on that?
It starts back at.
It's going to start back at Bill Bain. We'll get this question first.
Okay, being brief again.
Or for the first time.
For the first time. As I understand your answers to the county executive position, two were pretty much on board with it, and I think, Bill, you were kind of a little reticent about it. I do think some coordination is necessary, and I'm going to ask you, given the fact that we do need to have more of a voice in Lansing, do you see how, by having 83 counties, each board being separate and distinct, do you see a need to have some coordination among the counties so that whatever voice you have out here, maybe in a more consolidated way, you can speak more singularly to the power in the state? And do you see how that could go about being done?
I think as individual leaders, we can go ahead and take the lead and talk to our representatives and make those even the way it's set up now. But what my concern is these emergency managers have given really a bad taste in the mouth of things being under one head. I want that local input. Every community's got its own little problems, and I've found a lot of those I didn't know about until I started talking to the residents. And I think we should go ahead and keep it with the commission, and we can be more proactive. We can be the leaders we need to be. Just to say that, okay, this is county government, we're just stuck to this, it's like it's all intertwined, local, state, federal. You see a trash can blowing down in the middle of the road. You don't wait for a state senator to get out there if it's causing a traffic problem. You go ahead and you stop, pull over, and you get out so somebody don't get hurt. That's what we need to do as leaders, whether it's local, state, or federal. We need to be proactive, and we need to work together. It needs to be bipartisan, too. It needs to be both Republicans and Democrats, and you need moderates, the moderates on both sides. That's just like when Bill Clinton was president. You had the moderates, and that's where we got things done.
Thank you. Andy Everman, same question.
Thank you for that brief question. And just to recap, you want to know how to do the
Your 83 different counties throughout the state, and you're not that powerful given all of these individual units against a powerful state. And to increase your advocacy, what I was asking is, do you see a need to have some kind of conjoining structure among the counties so that they can speak more powerfully to what Lansing is doing.
I understand the concept. And one of the white papers that I wrote when I was at university was how to merge Kettering, U of M Flint, and Mott College into one university. And keeping the open door policies such as Mott Community College has, while expanding the region out instead of just Genesee County to Lapeer and Shiawassee County and Livingston County, the 3 counties that do not have community colleges at this time. You'd have to change the way trustees are elected because of the way it works now. That's codified. But the idea of a regional government, taking those type of counties and working together, on the surface it's a good idea, but the state has also created the My Buy program. If you're not familiar with it, it's the opportunity for communities to purchase, for example, police cars and other municipal equipment at a very reduced price to try to help out smaller communities. Bill makes a very good point. Small communities might feel disenfranchised. That's the last thing we'd like to see happen. Everybody needs a place at the table.
All right, thank you. Michael Lynch, same question.
Well, I think as a commissioner, you do need to keep some stuff local. We're going to want to know what our local people do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't go and meet with other counties and try to find common ground. And maybe they've got a better idea than this county, or something's working out better for them. And if you can go to the Lansing with more than one voice, more than one county, you'll always be carrying more in solidarity. You'll carry more weight than just one county. So, I don't know if you concede to, okay, that county speaks for me now. I would say no. But to work together, to try to have common ground, those counties have bad roads too. We need to speak together. So I would have no problem at all with meeting with other counties and trying to find common ground that we can go to Lansing and try to get our communities and their communities the help that they really need.
If I told you once, I told you twice. Oh, sure ain't right. You've been running around all night. And all those mean things you said and what you did is all wrong. Well, you gave me nothing but trouble, so I'm giving you this song. Hold on for a moment. I still love your heart to play. Gonna have a hard time forgiving. You're mean and dirty, low down, wicked, straight up evil ways. Oh, so tell me, how's it gonna be? Well, is it her or me? You gotta set somebody free. And all those mean things you said and what you did is all wrong. Yeah, you gave me nothing but trouble, and so I'm giving you this song. Hold on for a moment. I still love your heart ablaze. Now I'm gonna have a hard time forgiving. You're mean and dirty, low down, wicked, straight up evil ways. Hold on for a moment. Oh, I still love your heart ablaze. Oh, well, I'm gonna have a hard time forgiving. You're mean and dirty, low down, wicked, straight up evil ways.
Sutton. Again, we're going to get right into the questions from our panelists, and we have starting out Paul Rosicki. The first question will go to Bill Bain. You have 90 seconds for your response, and if you hear the bell, that means you have 15 seconds to complete your answer. Also, for the panelists, 30 seconds to set up the context for your questions. And once again, this week, I'm really surprised the candidates have been briefer than you expect people running for political office to be, and the panelists, or at least one of the panelists, a little windier than you expect pundits to be, but in any event, we'll get into it. Paul, you have the first question, and it's for Bill Bain, and then everyone will have a chance to respond.
All right, very good. Fracking has been a big issue in Genesee County, in terms of hydraulic fracking especially. Do you favor fracking as a means of creating jobs, or do you oppose it because of the environmental concerns?
I strongly oppose fracking in the state of Michigan. Our Great Lakes are a treasure. On April 1st, Governor Rick Snyder signed a series of 3 bad bills. First of all, the first bill gave the oil companies a 40% cut off the severance tax in order to develop more fracking. The others were like basically a land grab type thing for eminent domain like the government has. They're trying to extend that, open the door for oil companies. You pay your property taxes, you shouldn't have big business coming out trying to go ahead and rub you and go ahead and squeeze you to go ahead and give up your property rights. So no, I strongly oppose fracking. Our Great Lakes, we need to protect them, and you look at all the problem in the state of Oklahoma. We don't need earthquakes here, especially in our state. So that's how I feel about that.
Great, thank you.
Okay, same question to Andy Everman.
I oppose fracking. I have some major concerns about our state legislature that didn't stand up both sides of the aisle to make sure that we did not have fracking. Ohio, within the past 2 months, has finished a study on fracking and how it causes earthquakes. As I understand it, as you drill down, you use hot water with chemicals. The companies are not required to release the chemicals used, that they are, once they do this, if you have a problem, your property is adjoining to where they did the fracking. If you didn't build your case prior to the fracking starting, you really have a difficult time making the case. Then you have the brine that comes up, which is basically salt and can destroy the topsoil. Then after they're done, they inject in the deep wells the residue from the water and the chemicals, which do not have, we don't know if they'll get released back into our drinking water centuries from now or 10 years from now. So it's something that we need to take very seriously and not allowing to happen. However, as a county commissioner, there's not much we can do. It's up to our state legislature.
All right, Mike Lynch, same question.
Well, I agree that it's a lot to do with our state legislature, but I am not opposed to fracking and the opportunity for jobs and to get away from our, get some independence away from the other countries that we're buying our oils from. Having said that, though, I too am a serious outdoorsman and believe in we need to take care of our Great Lakes and our natural resources here. So I think that if there's going to be some fracking, we need to have some disclosure in the chemicals that they're using, what they're doing with it, and I think that with that disclosure, there needs to come some responsibility. That if they do make a mess of something, that they have to completely clean it up and take care of the people that has been affected by it. So I'm not opposed to fracking, but I think there needs to be disclosure and liability.
Okay, the next question comes from Jason Cooper at WFNT. And first responder, I don't think I've used that phrase in one of these, will be Andy Everman.
Thank you, Tom. Genesee County, pretty quick to hop on the Carignan Water Authority. I think it was a smart decision not to be reliant on Detroit any longer with all their problems, DWSD. But in the meantime, in the short term, for the next couple of years, we had to negotiate a short-term water purchasing contract with them, and the rates are going to go up 20% next year, 10% the year after that. We already know about the high water prices in the city of Flint, but now it seems like it's going to spread elsewhere throughout the county. Is there anything you can do as county commissioner to maybe make it easier on residents, or are they just going to have to bite the bullet for the next couple of years?
I don't know. I don't know because I'm not in the position to have looked at that contract to have the full understanding of what we can and can't do as it relates to negotiation. One would hope that we could have negotiated a reduced rate. Perhaps we will have to pay more for the short term. I will be highly disappointed if we finish the pipeline and our water prices continue to escalate like they have now. While a university student in the public administration program at U of M Flint, we wrote a paper, a team paper on building the water line to Port Huron and the advantages and disadvantages. There's so many advantages for our community that opens it up for long-term what we can do for the new type of manufacturing renaissance that's going to take place. Our strategic location with not only the airport's rail and expressways converging in this area and having the access to the water, we have a great future in Genesee County. It's just we're building it piece by piece.
Michael Lynch, same question.
Well, as a building tradesman, I've been in support of the KWA water line right from the start. Been pretty much most of the meetings. I think it's a great idea. We need to separate ourselves from Detroit. As far as the rise in the price of our water coming out of Detroit, I do believe that's short term. I'm hoping short term. We may have to bite the bullet. I know that if we hadn't put this line in over all the way to Port Huron, we would have been paying those prices long term with Detroit because their infrastructure is deteriorating, and they would have put those prices on these people in Genesee County. We're the highest area to pump to. It would have cost us the most to fix their water line, and we would still been dependent on them. So I'm in full support of the Carigani water line. And as far as I'm not sure that all of the price that's coming right now is strictly because of Detroit. I think there's some stuff going on with our emergency manager helping do some funding on that. My guess. Thank you.
Okay, same question, Bill Bain.
I always have supported this water line project. It is very unfortunate the cost is going to be more for the residents, but hopefully we could get more people to take part, to try to get onto the system. And that over time could bring the prices down. So that's something I think we should actively try to seek to get more people to go in on the line. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay. The next question goes to George Moss, and the first of the responses will come from Michael Lynch.
I want to commend the members that are here for the 7th District. You're very qualified candidates, all of you, very, very impressive. Since you've been so brief, I'll take your time and pose my question. I do want to talk about a report that I came across which said that at least $100 million have been wasted over the last 10 years. That would be $10 million a year. Do you intend to find out, if you are elected, how that happened, and do you intend to go after any of that money that is in fact inappropriately spent? I think that goes to...
That goes to Michael Lynch.
I'm unaware of that amounts that you're talking about, but as far as if I would be willing to look back, of course, I think that's part of what we need to do is look back. And if there's monies owed to the county, then I think that we should do everything we can to get those monies. But I'm unaware at this time of those funds. So.
Okay, same question, Bill Bain.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it too, but do you, can I ask a question back more precisely? Where did those losses, where were those losses particularly?
Overbilling, billing the same thing, not keeping a record of the inventory, ordering the things you've already ordered, things of that sort.
Well,
and also paying out monies for services that were not delivered.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we need to crack down on fraud. And I tell you what, we need to audit these departments and we need to make sure things are done right. Taxpayers, they pay enough taxes here, and we need to be good stewards of that money. And I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. But if it requires audits, we need to find out where the hemorrhaging is occurring.
Andy Everman, same question.
$10 million a year. Well, for you, that's milk and butter money. For me, that's serious money. If, in fact, there's fraud going on, has there been a convening of I can't think of the name of it, they do it, the court convenes a grand jury to investigate, which, if there's illegal activities that have taken place, by all means, we need to prosecute fully and go after the money to get it back. And people need to be made an example that this type of behavior in public service at any level, whether you're a county commissioner or a state rep, which I don't know that they're involved in it, but even the employees, if there's this type of graft or corruption, if it truly exists, they need to be made an example and shown to the rest of the community. We will not tolerate that in Genesee County.
Thank you. We'll be back with another round of questions for our candidates right after this. This is Candidate Forum at the White Horse. I'm Tom Sumner. We are looking at the 7th District seat on the County Board of Commissioners with candidates Bill Bain, Andy Everman, and Mike Lynch. Our panelists are Paul Rosicki, George Moss, and Jason Cooper. We start the round of questions for this segment with Paul Rosicki from Community College.
All right. In recent years, there's been a lot of conflict between the county board and major department heads, the sheriff, the prosecutor, and treasurer, and a few others, and that's resulted in a lot of lawsuits. In an era of tight budgets, is there a way to reduce that conflict and avoid those lawsuits?
Yeah.
Is it Andy?
We'll begin the responses with Bill Bain in this segment.
Well, we need to go ahead when we are doing the budget, which is going to be, again, up in September. We need to look at all the departments and make sure they're properly funded. It's a free country. People can do litigation, but we need to do things so we're not put in that position. We need to make sure that things are safe at the jail, that we have more than one jail guard on duty at a particular time. And we also need to protect those people who are incarcerated. I mean, that's all about staffing. And I know there's a lot of needs out there for the departments, but we need to go line by line and look at what we can do.
Same question, Andrew Everman.
You're not going to change that on me at the last minute, huh? So the question is, we're going to...
How would you reduce conflict? I mean, we've had a lot of lawsuits between the board and the department heads. Can or should that be reduced? Should we try and avoid those lawsuits?
So we have, let's use David Layton for an example. Not that he's done anything wrong. I don't know that he has. But why should the county commissioners be spending their time nitpicking with them? They've been properly elected. They're doing their job. They didn't get into these positions, whether it's a county commissioner, a register of deeds, a sheriff, because they want to take advantage. In the final analysis, they're good-hearted people. We all have a different way of looking at things, and sometimes it's not right. If there's illegal behavior that's gone on, then due diligence would require that the commissioners bring that to their attention, take the appropriate action. But nitpicking, we don't have time for that. We have a county that we need to get together and move forward in a positive way.
All right, same question goes to Mike Lynch.
Well, those are elected officials, and I do think that you need to let them do their job. I mean, we set up their budget, and if they stay in budget, I think that at that time, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. As far as the lawsuits, I mean, we do need to curb these lawsuits. I mean, we could be spending that money in those departments rather than spending them on lawyers, quite frankly. In what I do now as a rep, I mean, I deal with conflict all the time. I know, and break down conflict between labor and management. And I've worked with all these people over the last 19 years in different issues with Genesee County. It would not be new for me to walk in their doors. I think it all starts with dialogue to start with. Instead of calling a lawyer first, what do you say we meet and try to sort some stuff out? Doesn't mean you're always going to meet, but we're on common ground. We got Genesee County and its best interest.
Okay, the next question comes from Jason Cooper, and beginning the responses will be Andy Everman.
I think I heard all of you make mention to public safety, as public safety being important to the county and elsewhere within the county. Obviously, we all know the struggles that Flint's going through right now, and there's a possibility of more police cuts coming later this year. Do you see any way possible that the county could, maybe do more to help the city of Flint in terms of public safety? And also, maybe keeping the Flint City lockup open after state money runs out. What are your thoughts on public safety within Genesee County?
If Proposal 1 should pass, it will allow the municipalities to raise taxes to whatever level they need, according to the Senate Fiscal Agency's report, for any emergency services. If this is true from the Senate Fiscal Agency, and if they're allowed to do that, they will bring the money to the table without a vote of the people. I'm concerned about that. The population does not have the answer, the opportunity to vote on whether or not they would like that money to go there. So from that perspective, I'm concerned about how Proposal 1 works as it relates to emergency services. I also, setting that now aside, I also believe working with our state police and our sheriff to begin a study to find a way that we can do mutual aid, mutual services, not that they don't already exist, but how we can build a program over the long term for a regional police force that can help facilitate this, albeit the police as well as the fire. I mean, there is a cost to government and services, and we as taxpayers need to pay it so that we can have the fire protection and police protection that we would like.
Same question goes now to Michael Lynch.
Public safety is the utmost important. Having said that, we're not going to fix this by more cuts, more layoffs. That's just not going to fix it. I think that we can look at once again at some shared services. Maybe we can get some stuff done there. We need to, of course, look at the budget, but truly, the church needs money at this case. We have to do something to support our police and our firefighters to make sure that they're on the streets for our safety. If we don't back them up with some type of finances, they can't protect us. Nobody likes taxes, and nobody likes taxes whatsoever, but if you don't pay a little bit, then you can't have services. It's just that simple. You can't have both worlds. So you will not fix this through cuts. We're going to end up, I believe, as a community, having to pony up a little bit.
All right, thank you. Same question, Bill Bain.
I think what we should do, getting back to the Genesee County Animal Control, again, that's a significant part of the budget. If we were to maybe adopt the same type of thing that Midland did, you'd save that revenue, and you wouldn't lay those officers off. You'd reintegrate them into the sheriff's department, which would provide more police. That would be a good idea as far as doing that. That, again, where the Humane Society's taking that over, and that revenue could be used elsewhere. Now, I fully support the police, and we need all the police officers we can get. I don't know if I got time to go over this. I was working on a workshop as far as with more eyes and ears as far as MTA drivers, and I was working on an auto dialing system where we're upgrading the GPS and the system. So say there's like a crime in progress. It'd be like a code 1. They could go crime at the bus stop, GPS coordinates, auto dialing to 911. These are the kind of innovations we're trying to do with the MTA, and these are in the concept stages. So besides the police officers, who has more eyes and ears on the road? The bus drivers. So we're looking at maybe doing some training there. And, you know, we don't need to live in fear, but we need to live in awareness, and we do need to fund the police properly. And if we need to jiggle things a little bit to go ahead and provide the funding, put the resources where they need to go.
Okay. Michael Lynch, same question. Oh, wait a minute. No. We're moving on. Michael Lynch gets the next question, which is the final question, by the way, but not the last word, from George Moss.
I want to say again to the gentleman that you have done an excellent job. You've thought these questions through, and I'm really impressed with your answers. We had, in our first meeting here, one of the candidates that was the county commissioner, the head of it. And he stated that there were 2 instances where they had no bid contracts, and he thought that that was justifiable under whatever means that he was placing his justification under. What I want to ask you is do you see anything that would justify having contracts with taxpayers' money going to a person who did not bid for the contract, where you get the best bid on the table and you are paying respects to the taxpayers who are making a sacrifice to budget these items? So do you see any kind of condition where you would favor giving a contract out without bids being made?
Well, I'm for bidding out any kind of contract that we can. All the people that I deal with, the contractors, I mean, you are in a process of bidding amongst many people. But the only time that I could ever think that something like that happened is you have some emergency where you have to hire somebody soon. I mean, that you don't have a lot of time to put it out on the street to come back for bidding. But I truly believe in the process of putting it out there for everybody. I will say, though, that sometimes the lowest bid isn't the most proper bid. So as far as the taxpayers' money, I don't think you always take the lowest bid, but I do believe you should put contracts out for bidding. I mean, it's the fairest route.
Same question goes to Bill Bain.
I absolutely believe in transparency and following the rules. Everybody should have a fair shot. If they're qualified, they should have a chance to make their case. For the good of the county, the more of a flow of people you have participating in there, the better possibility, most bang for the buck. And it needs to be open. It needs to be done right.
Same question, Andy Everman.
Mike is correct that if you had a tornado and you had to immediately use some emergency services that we don't have, absolutely you'd have to move forward because we have people's lives at stake. Beyond that, you need to bid things out. You can't just give a contract to somebody because they have a pickleberry idea that they're going to show us how to save money. Yeah, that's kind of neat that they've got some idea, but where's the county commissioners in this? We're supposed to be looking at line item budgets. We're supposed to be doing due diligence. We're not supposed to just award contracts without the due diligence, the study, the reflection. It's not about showing up at a meeting and arguing because I have a disagreement with someone. As long as the disagreement is on the topic and we're looking for a solution, it's okay to have disagreements, but not to personally go after someone. So this idea of awarding the contracts without bidding them out, absolutely not. We need to have some transparency, and that's important.
Okay, we'll be back with our candidates' closing remarks in just a moment. Welcome back. We're at the White Horse for another candidate forum. We've been talking with the candidates for the Democratic primary on August 5th for the 7th district seat in the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. And thanks again to our political pundits, Paul Rosicki and Jason Cooper from WFNT, and the eloquent and articulate George Moss. Thank you all for being part of it. But as promised, the candidates themselves get a chance now to take, we'll go 2 minutes apiece for a closing statement. We started the opening remarks with Bill Bain, so we'll go to the other end of the table and start the closing remarks with Michael Lynch.
Thank you, Tom. Well, in closing, I'd like to say that, I've done nothing but work hard my whole life as a bricklayer and born as a farmer, and I would be willing the first day and the first minute bring that hard work straight to this office. With my 19 years as a rep, I've worked with all the department heads, between the drain commissioner or the treasurer or the clerk or the current county commissioners. I've built relationships with them over the years, so it would not be new for me to walk in their office. We've had to make some tough decisions in the past, and I'd be willing to make tough decisions with them in the future. None of which, by the way, has ever ended up in a lawsuit. So I think that with my experience, this I think I would be right for this seat.
Okay, up next, Andy Everman.
I'm Andrew Everman. I'm running to be the county commissioner for the 7th district. I'm asking for your support. I have the energy, compassion. I have the belief that we need transparency in government. We need to use performance budgeting to make sure our funds are being spent appropriately. Shared services are a must. We must be reflective as county commissioners. No matter what elected official one holds, one must look at the issues, reflect on what's told them, do their homework, and be out talking to the people. People who know me know I don't disappear after getting to elected office. I believe in management by wandering around. You get to know people, you talk to them, you find out what their concerns are. I will bring that energy to the position. I've been a small business owner. I've worked in product engineering and future program planning. It is my hope that we can bring the forward-thinking skills of not just the elected officials, but our regional chamber of commerce, as well as our colleges and universities, to build a 21st century economy within Genesee County that works for all of us, not just the fat cats. And I will hope that you will see that we have a great future in Genesee County, and that I would like to be your county commissioner for the 7th district. I'm Andrew Everman, and thank you.
And Bill Bain, you have 2 minutes as well for a closing statement.
First of all, I'd like to say Genesee County is a good place to live. And the best asset we have in this community are the people. And I mean, they've seen ups and downs and hard times, and they're tough, and they've stuck in there. We need and they deserve the leadership of their representatives to fight for them. And we need to use innovative ideas. And again, it's not just locally. We need to do it state, local, state, and federal. And I'm up to the challenge of doing that. I'm asking for their support to be their next county commissioner. And I promise I'll do a good job. And I want to thank Tom Sumner, Andrea Sudden, and the panel, the audio crew and the video, the staff of the White Horse, and the wonderful entertainment we had tonight. I think they deserve another round of applause.
And he took the words right out of my mouth. No, actually, I want to thank all of the candidates. We ended up coming up a little shorter than we had scheduled originally. We had planned out for 4 candidates. There are 4 candidates running in the August 5th primary, the Democratic primary for the 7th District seat on the Genesee County Board of Commissioners. That seat is currently held by Archie Bailey, who is not running for re-election. It is an open seat. All 4 candidates were invited. We had 3 of the 4 here, and we appreciate your participation. I think it's a great way for voters to get to know you, whether they're listening to us on WKUF 94.3 FM or watching a webcast on YouTube or a soon-to-be released television program based on all of these forums. And I always say that decisions get made by people who show up. So I very much appreciate you being here and participating in this. And then I want to echo Bill Bain's comments and thank the same list of people, Captain Jack from RLX Sound, the sound you want, for taking care of the live audio here and also the audio that we use for turning over for radio for them to broadcast over at Kettering University. And always to Andrea, who sits there and watches these people like a hawk with her clock and hammer and bell at the ready. And George, you were very brief today. George Moss from U of M Flint. Always a pleasure to work with you, my friend. And I'm especially appreciative of Jason Cooper from WFNT. He's the news director there, hosts Conversations with Jason Cooper. And thank you for once again bringing your knowledge and credibility to the panel. And of course, Flint's premier political pundit, Paul Rosicki. Thank you so much for being part of all of these. George and Paul have been here every week and will be for the next couple. We have a couple of more of these to go. And of course, to all of the technical crew, the people from 3MG Mid-Michigan Media, and also FlintTalkRadio.com. John Wilson, who's through his courtesy, we are able to put some of these up online so you can watch them if you weren't here in person. And of course, to Chris and Steve Polis from the White Horse and their staff. And thank you so much. And to everyone here in the audience. And I hope you enjoyed that set earlier with Heather Jones, because she... somebody just sent me a note from the panel of candidates. I won't say which one, but wanted to thank Archie Bailey for not running for the seat again. Good point. And I'm sure on that all three will agree. But in any event, it is time for us to wrap up this particular edition. We have a couple of more coming that should be very exciting. Thanks again, everybody, staff of the White Horse, and everyone here in the audience. I started to mention Heather Jones, who performed here during the break a little earlier for those that were here at the White Horse. And what a great opportunity, because she's leaving the area this fall. She's moving to Washington State, and she's a huge talent, and she will be missed. Anyway, thank you, and we'll see you next time.